Welcome, you black dress, long hair, stud wearing metal fiends. Or you might work at a bank and you're just a hobby metal guy. Whoever you are, you probably like the late 80s, early 90s Swedish death metal chainsaw sound that the classic Boss HM2 creates. I don't. So, showing you a pedal that focuses on perfecting that sound and giving you even more tools to make it amazing, is difficult for me. And I'm not going to say anywhere in this video that I like the sound, because I don't. I don't get it. It is very bassy. It's got super mega peaks in the mids, 1.5-ish, something like that. No, even a little bit, 1 and whatever. So the original HM2 has a very low peak, really narrow, boosted in, and people have that pedal with everything up. The level, the gain, and the EQ, both the EQs, and it's got two EQs, the low and the, let's call it mids, and they're actually two mids right next to each other, really peaking that those two frequencies. Colin Scott has a great video showing you what it's actually made of, what the gain staging is, and the EQ, and he's got an oscilloscope, all that stuff. So if you want to know about the HM2, watch Colin Scott's video on the HM2 Wasserkraft version, which actually has a mode which is now a little bit lower to go to the fundamental of the low B to account for extended range guitars, which with the Guardian of the Wurm, not the Wurm, as Leslie pointed out, because it's written in German, so it's not the Guardian of the Wurm, it's the Guardian of the Wurm. You can do. So, I hope I can make KMA Machines, who are paying for this video, and you proud in showing at least the sounds. Don't have to like what I show, because, you know, maybe Ariel likes it. She likes the Manson. So, put it on the screen. Doesn't look like an HM2. Under the hood, it is, but there's so much more. So let me explain. If you want the HM2 sound, turn that side off because that's a gate. And you need it because that's a noisy pedal. Not that. In general, that much gain, that's noise. So the HM2 sound with everything up is master all the way up, gain all the way up. Ooh, that's a lot of noise right there. Oh look, it's gone. Gate on. And a knob. Now, let's get to the gate right away. Let's get that right out of the gate. Gate is on, but you can also, I think by holding in both switches and turning the pedal on with 9 volt, switch it to where the gate follows the bypass of the Terra knob, which is the bypass of the HM2 side. So they go together. Right now, I'm going into the input. We actually have a camera showing that from the back. We have an input and an output, an innie and an outie. There is an effects loop, which I would use to actually loop in the preamp of my amp. So if I'm going into a cranky Marshall with this, which you might want to do, then you might want to loop in the preamp section of that amp so that the gate, this, will be behind everything. It'll be behind the Wurm, and it'll be behind your preamp. In order to do that, you're asking yourself, but it's just one plug. Well, it's actually a TRS stereo plug. So if you have this, which you can buy relatively inexpensively at Thomann or anywhere else, it's a TRS to just 2 jacks. That's it. And that makes it a stereo loop. You can, of course, also buy the cable in the particular length that you need. I'm not going to show you this because I'm going through tons of amps, but you can wire in the preamp of your amp, and then that gate will actually apply to everything, or use only the gate. Don't even turn the left side on. Nah, where would be the fun in that? If you want the HM2 sound, get the gain up, get the master up, switch it to silicone, switch it to HM2 mode, get the high mids up, get the low up, put these in center position, Bam. In HM2 mode, this doesn't do anything. Okay, it's exactly set where the HM2 is set. But from there, you can go further. You can go, turn the clip style off, go to asymmetrical clipping. You can go to a KMA style EQ where this is actually active. Okay, and then something else is happening, and Enrico from KMA explained it to me on both. Something's happening with more. There you go. So you have more options. And obviously, you don't have to have the gain all the way up, even though on the HM2, there's all the way gain and almost nothing, which is still quite a bit of gain. Here, the same thing. This is a setting, which is exactly the same everywhere else, and then this is a setting. So no, it's not a super big range of gain. But of course, with the tweakable EQ, 4 bands, semi-parametric, you have a lot more options. If you wanted that custom mode that the Wazacraft Boss has, go down to 60, and then all of a sudden you're at that low B of your 7-string that you might want to push. I would not push that all the way up. And most people will tell you that all knobs up HM2 setting is totally stupid. It might be, it might not be. I watched Ola's video, and he's going into a Mesa Boogie with that setting. I think big mistake, because Mesas are muddy and super low endy anyway. But back in the day, they were using transistor amps. So if you used an old Randall, listen to Dime sound, there wasn't a lot of low end at all. So if you have an old transistor amp, like a Randall, boosting that low end might have made total sense. So the settings are highly dependent on the amp you're using. Don't just go HM2 mode, everything up, metal. On the other hand, if you want to go, metal, you can, because it's a free country. Obviously, the freaking guitar's gotta be pointy and it's gotta be black. Anything else will not suffice. We have a Schecter Blackjack loaded with Lundgrens. I'm tuned in E because that's how I'm doing it. Of course, there are a billion videos on how to get the Swedish chainsaw sound. I will go into it for a very brief amount of time and then actually see where else the pedal can take us. Here we go, that's my clean sound. Into the most metal of all amps, the Tone King, Sky King. We're gonna go into others. And into the aux, which is cream backloaded. Should I do V30? Let's go V30. It's gonna be super aggressive. You can already hear thinner, more high end. I feel the chug isn't really there. You can hear the chug, but there's a bristly brrr on top of it. So the chug is kind of under a blanket of fizz. Dead quiet, unless that's not on. Nasty done, Daniel. Okay, done. That's that sound. With those settings, let's flip the switches. That feels a bit more articulated and I like it more. Not saying I like it, okay? Don't get me wrong. I don't like it, but I like it more. And you're free to disagree with me any point in time. Please comment. Of course you will, because you like the HM2 and that's fine. Yeah, that high mid bump is more clear in the SI setting. Let's go to the KMA setting over here for the EQ. Oh, the whole time I've got the blend in. No blend. It was pretty articulated, wasn't it? Well, because I was blending in my clean signal all the way. Kind of cool that you can do that. There isn't really the attack. It's all a wash, but that's what you want. For those who want that. So, let's be civil for a second. Let's get this down. Let's go to KMA. Gain all the way down. It's still a fuzzly type of distortion. See, what kind of solo stuff could you do with a little bit of delay right here? Gilmour used an HM2. And immediately, a lot of gain. So what I'm going to do is push like 900. And why not? Definitely a different sound. Oh, that's back to kind of the super scoops. You can see on the really nothing happens until back here. That's HM2 classic. It's gain completely off. Blend in the clean. Okay, loads of possibilities with the EQ for sure. Let's pump into a bunch of different amps. We're gonna start with the Revv. Why would I take a 4-channel amp that's made for extreme metal and everything else worth almost $4,000 and put an HM2 in front of it? Well, because it doesn't have that sound built in. Here we go. And that shows you that you need the right amp, because I think back in the day they had amps with not a lot of low end, and that's why they pushed it that way. The Revv is leaner than other amps, so you don't actually need to push it with a tube screamer and all that bullshit. And also, I pushed in the bright, so that channel can handle the low end. And we do move on to the next amp, which is the Hamstead Artist 60. Very boutique-y thing Why would you put an HM2 in front of it? Because you can! That's the Marshall SV20H little Plexi thing, and it's already... With the that clean thing, that's kind of cool because it's very defined. You could hear all those notes. That's crazy. That's the Morgan AC20. How does it do in an AC style amp? Voxy. Yeah, for the Voxy thing was way too much to really kick in that low end. So adjust it a bit. That's what the Wurm can do for you. Moving on. 2 more amps. It's already driving. We would really need that effects loop wired into with the gate, but I'm too lazy for that. Come on, 2 amps all the way over there. This is the Marshall JCM800. That's already quite a bit of gain. Let's put it in front of it. Not bad at all, I gotta say. Here is the Orange Rockerverb 50, which should be very lean in the bass. The trick is, don't push these all the way up. Why would you? Use this mode. So, what's my bottom line? Well, the HM2 is a historical sound. It used to be the pedal that many people used. It spawned the era of Swedish chainsaw metal, you know, Entombed and all these bands. So if you need that sound, which I wouldn't need, personally, but if you need it, I think you're much better off with the Guardian of the Wurm than the Boss HM2. And I love Boss, and I know that's how the pedal has to look, and that's what you want to see on your pedal board, and I get that. First of all, those graphics are fucking rad, so there. And secondly, you're gonna have to buy, you have to buy a gate. Well, this has a gate, the beautiful blue lady, built in, and also it is more flexible. I would rather be in that AS mode than asymmetrical mode. I would rather be in the KMA mode, take these down a bit, and yeah, get that chainsaw sound, but tame it a little bit, have it a little bit more responsive. I love the idea of having the blend in. You could clearly hear that. That was way more defined. You have the sound, but you have it in better. So, do I like the chainsaw sound? No. If I had to use the chainsaw sound as a producer because someone said, do you have an HM2? I'd be like, no, I got something way better. I got the Guardian of the Wurm. Because it's got the gate, and it is more tweakable. Essentially, that sound is still there. There isn't the major gain reserve. I mean, the gain is there or it's not there, and then it's still that sound. It is a very fuzzy, thickly saturated, fizzy distortion. It's not a distortion, it's a fuzz torsion, if you want. For me, at least. I know internally it might not be a fuzz circuit, but I don't give a flying rat's ass. That's what it is. That's what it sounds like to me. If you're going for the HM2, you might want to check out the Guardian of the Wurm. Doesn't have the Boss looks, but it most certainly has the Boss sound, and then some. So, that's all I can say. I hope that gave you some insight. I'm not going to pretend to be a fanboy of that sound. And you know, they're not paying me for it. They're paying me for my opinion. My opinion is, it is a good pedal if you're looking for an HM2. That's pretty much the point. Thanks for commissioning this video, KMA and Steve. Thanks, Leslie, for switching. And we're going to put some links below and some animals at the end.
Everyone who disobeys gotta go. Who's to blame in this game? Light a flame and let it glow. On the page full of rage, we engage the imposter god. Tell us all righteous crawl and make them cross, and in the squad.